Aloha! This is Jason from Hawaii. Welcome to a special edition of Comics for Fun and Profit. This episode is spotlighting on the Amazing Comic-Con. I interviewed Jimmy J. He and his brother Bill are the Amazing Comic-Con organizers. I interviewed Jimmy on Thursday, May 18th at Dragon's Lairs in Hawaii. Here's my interview with Jimmy J. from Amazing Comic-Con. Aloha guys, this is Jason. I'm here at Dragon's Lairs in Hawaii recording a promo interview for the Amazing Comic-Con for the Las Vegas and Hawaii conventions for this year, 2017. That it'll be on for the Comics for Fun and Profit episode probably in the next couple weeks, and for the next preview spotlight episode 116 that will come out on Tuesday, June 13th. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my special guest, please welcome Jimmy J, the Amazing Comic-Con organizer. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, how's everything going? I'm really glad that we have this opportunity just to hang out, talk comics, talk conventions. These are my absolutely favorite things in the world, so it's great that we get to do it here in Hawaii.
Again, Jimmy, thank you for doing this. And, Jimmy, I just want to start off, how long have you been organizing the Amazing Comic-Con?
This is our 8th year of organizing conventions. So we started out with a really small, tiny show outside of Phoenix, Arizona, where we invited Robert Kirkman and a great cast to come on out for our very first show. So over the years, we've built, we've expanded, we've put on shows in different cities. But in 2017, we are doing two events. We're doing the Amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con, and that is June 23, 24, and 25. So that's the beginning of summer. And then at the end of the summer, Amazing Comic-Con comes back to Hawaii in Honolulu at the Hawaii Convention Center. And our dates for that is August 25, 26, 27. So one at the beginning of the summer, one at the end of the summer. Really good guests at both events.
Yeah. And then, like you said, the Las Vegas ones at the beginning of the summer, again, for us, Hawaii folks, we consider Las Vegas as the 9th island in the Hawaiian chain. So, I want to just talk to you about the Las Vegas convention, like some of the guests that you have. Like, I know you guys got the amazing Stan Lee. Stan's coming back. And I just want to ask, is this going to be one of his last appearances at the conventions?
Stan that's a great question, and ultimately I won't know that answer. Stan Lee is like him going on a final tour is like the Rolling Stones going on the final tour. Since 1980, I had as a little tiny kid, I had a Rolling Stones T-shirt from their Tattoo You show. That was supposed to be their last show. That was in like 1980, and they've been going strong ever since. And I think Stan Lee, just might be the Keith Richards on the Comic-Con circuit. So he's a great 95 years old or so, give or take. And he is still in great shape. He is spry as ever. He is, you see him at shows, he feeds off the crowd. He goes on fire. So we'll see. We're just happy that he chose to come on out, him and his team, chose to come on out and celebrate pop culture with us in Las Vegas, in June. So we're very thankful for that, and we'll see how it goes from there.
That's great. And also, you got another comic book, I guess, a legend, Todd McFarlane. I mean, he's celebrating the 25th anniversary of Spawn and Image Comics. And I know this week, the 25th anniversary Spawn Director's Cut just came out this Wednesday. So, how did you guys were able to get him to come to Las Vegas and Hawaii?
Well, you know what, and this was a really big deal because, Todd McFarlane, we've done shows with Todd McFarlane before. Okay. We put on the very first Image Comic Expo in Oakland, our company did, and also he came out to some of our shows that we've put on in Arizona in the past because, he's a local guy and would, I think, normally just kind of roll out of bed, see some of his friends, and they're nice, fun, short but sweet appearances. But Todd, for the most part, is not known as being a road warrior, somebody that makes a ton of convention appearances. And we're going to contrast that with Stan, who Stan is, he's a showman. He is, on the road, for, a few dozen times a year, doing conventions. Todd rarely goes out. So it was a really big deal when we signed him to come on out to do both of our conventions. And I do think that he wants to get out and celebrate the Image 25th anniversary and the 25th anniversary of Spawn. I mean, I looked at the director's cut, flipping through it on the stands. It looks gorgeous, and it reminds you of how excited you were, while reading these comics the very first time. They really hold up, and so we're excited that he's going to be celebrating that big anniversary with us. And he's also the best-selling Spider-Man artist of all time.
Yeah.
So it's great to team him up with Stan. And it's a great fit all the way around.
Yeah, that's great. That's great that Todd's showing up at both the Las Vegas and the Hawaii one. Also, too, you have Rob Liefeld. I know his Deadpool Bad Blood graphic novel just came out this week. So that's great that you're able to get Rob to come out to Las Vegas.
Yeah, no, I mean Rob is a great friend of ours. He has done a number of the amazing comic conventions in the past, But like what we're really excited about is that after missing Vegas for the last couple of years, he's back, and we have a lot of great stuff to celebrate. I mean, you mentioned the Bad Blood graphic novel. That's an original graphic novel, so it looks great. I mean, you're seeing all the classic Deadpool characters in there, including X-Force. A really great section of X-Force and Domino are all in there, and I flipped through that book. It's great, and here it is. Again, 25 years later, and he's putting out work that is arguably better than than the stuff that got him popular in the first place. So between that, there's the Youngblood. Youngblood #1 came back out from Image Comics last month, and that sold out. There's a new Cable series coming out.
Yeah,
Josh Brolin has been announced as Cable in the upcoming Deadpool sequel. The guy's on fire. We're excited for his appearance. He's also bringing out an Extreme 25th anniversary crew. We're celebrating that anniversary as well. So along with that is Jeff Matsuda, who, is this great animation director. Now, he got his start at Extreme Studios. He was doing things like Kaboom and things like that for Awesome back in the day. He's making his first convention appearance in probably a decade or more, and there's a lot for him to celebrate. There's also Marat Michaels and Dan Fraga, who are also coming out. Also, who did an assist on Youngblood Bad Blood is Shelby Robertson. Also, Carl Alstetter will be there, which are these Extreme 25th anniversary guys. And it's important to note them. These guys haven't been on the convention circuit, so it's like if you have old school books to get signed, or if you're looking for just even some great commissions, definitely hit these guys up. They're fantastic.
So these guys are also coming out with Rob Liefeld at Las Vegas?
Correct. They will be at the Las Vegas, at the Amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con. But part of Rob's appearance is that 25th anniversary Extreme reunion. And there will be a special sketchbook with that. So with all new artwork by all this great talent. So that's something that's exclusive that you can pick up at the convention from Liefeld. And it should be a good time.
Wow, that's pretty cool, because I know that was not announced on the Facebook, on the Amazing website or the Facebook, so you're making that announcement like right now, basically, sort of.
Well, absolutely. Where there has been mentions of those pieces of talent, we will be doing a spotlight on them closer to the event, because we want to get the crowd hyped to see the people that we're bringing out. Because there's a good chance that that everyone has different books by these creators that they've done over the years. Whether it was like with Matsuda or Fraga, they have issues of Wolverine that they did back in the day. Whether it's Marat Michaels, who's done Shatterstar, which is fantastic, considering that there's a lot of rumors that Shatterstar is going to be in the next Deadpool movie as well. That's unconfirmed. No. That's an unconfirmed rumor, but. So for those heavy speculators,
yes,
it's time to go into your deep cuts, and, dig into the deep boxes for this material. So we'll see.
Wow, no, thank you, Jimmy. And also too, at the Las Vegas one, you have legendary writer Jerry Conway. the co-creator. Correct me if I'm wrong. Co-creator of The Punisher.
Absolutely.
And I know co-creator of Firestorm, and also the writer for the Spider-Man comic, the legendary storyline Death of Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, Jerry Conway, he's this fantastic talent that he was an editor in chief at Marvel Comics. He has this great history. He wrote the first Spider-Man DC Marvel crossover with Spider-Man and Superman. He had his hand in creating a number of characters. Yeah. I mean, Punisher's obviously is the huge one. He did the Death of Gwen Stacy storyline. But, I mean, think about this. Power Girl, Vixen, Firestorm, Jason Todd, Killer Croc. I mean, the list goes on and on. He was very prolific in the 70s and 80s. And all of a sudden, in the 80s, he took a seemingly retirement from comics, and he went into TV. And he produced a ton of TV, such as Law and Order, and a number of these like long-standing TV shows. So now he jumped back into comics recently with
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, Carnage, and a few other storylines from Marvel. So we were lucky enough to bring him out to conventions. He's a name that he hasn't been out to a lot of different shows, and we just feel very lucky, very blessed that he's coming back to Amazing, and is making his first appearance in Las Vegas with us. And we're thrilled. Couldn't be more thrilled to have, a legendary talent like that.
Yeah.
Think about the big tentpoles of Spider-Man's career, whether it's the creation of Spider-Man, whether it is the introduction of Punisher and the death of Gwen Stacy, whether it's Spider-Man 300 and Venom.
Yes.
Okay, so we have all these creators that are associated with these highlights or lowlights of Peter Parker's career as Spider-Man. So something very exciting for fans, at least to connect the dots. And I think that's an important thing at conventions, is that no matter where you come from, if you like cartoons, whether you like video games, whether you read an old time fan of the comics or the movies, it's interesting to chart everybody's history through this. So that's our goal with Amazing comic conventions, is that just to give the fans a roadmap of the origins of their favorite pop culture icons.
Yeah, that's right. Because you got Stan Lee, creator of Spider-Man, Todd McFarlane, who, like you mentioned, had the best-selling comic of all time. Spider-Man, when he did it back in if I remember correctly, the early '90s.
Yeah.
Legendary writer Jerry Conway. Also, too, at the Las Vegas convention, you also have Tyler Kirkman. Is that correct?
Tyler Kirkham, who he represents this really cool new generation of comic creators. There's like him. There's Chad Hardin.
Yes.
There is Natalie Saunders, who's done a bunch of really great covers. Okay, there's Jason Fabok.
Yes.
Okay, so here's this generation of creators that they've been working in comics for the last several years, but now they're pushed to the forefront with great cover work or tentpole stories. Like Jason Fabok just finished doing the Button storyline for DC. It's the best-selling book in the month of April. The last part actually just shipped this week, which was Flash number 22. He did the cover to that. There's the lenticular covers that sold out seemingly everywhere. But he's coming to Las Vegas, and he'll also be in Hawaii. So, again, thrilled to have these names that, we talked about all these legendary creators, but it's just as important to represent the next generation as well coming up. And these guys are great. Guys, girls are great representatives of that next generation.
And I think Tyler Kirkham, I think he might be doing a variant cover of Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man #1 that's coming out probably in the next month or so. I'm not sure, but it's nice.
Yeah, he's coming out. That should be coming out in June. But we're really excited that there's a vendor there called KRS Comics. They do a number of specialty covers and exclusive covers. They've done some great stuff with Tyler, and I know that they have some special plans for the show. So I would say keep checking the websites, the exclusive page, and you're going to be seeing some more fantastic artwork there, and also some specialty books that you can pick up at the show itself. And those are going to be your first opportunities to pick those up. Now, if you can't make it out to the show, I'm sure you could do some mail order, compliments of eBay, or even tracking down those vendors such as KRS and making your purchases there. But again, it's nice to have collectibles associated directly with the events that we throw.
That's great. And also, you guys have another great writer, Jim Kruger. Am I pronouncing his last name?
Absolutely, Jim Kruger. Jim Kruger is a fantastic talent. He's worked with Alex Ross on a number of projects, including the Big Eisner Award winner, which is Justice.
Yes.
So think of that as a grown-up version of Super Friends.
Yes.
Done violent, realistic, with a harder edge. So he worked on that collaborated with Alex Ross there. He also did the Earth X projects, a number of different things with Alex, but on his own he did Foot Soldiers, which is coming back right around the same time as the convention. So that's something that I definitely recommend to pick up, because again, I mean, edgy, independent, sci-fi superheroes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's done right. So something to be excited about.
Okay, that's great. And I know you already talked about Jason Fabok. He's coming to Las Vegas and Hawaii. So anything you wanted to add? Is this Jason Fabok's first appearance with you guys? Amazing.
Correct. These are his first two amazing comic conventions that he's done. But what's great, I mean, I've been charting this guy's career, is that he was a art assistant for David Finch, and so there is a lot of detective comics from DC 52 that he's associated with. He's associated with Batman Eternal and Batman and Robin Eternal, and right at the close of the 52, he did a great storyline with Jeff Johns. With the New Gods and
in the Justice League, the Dark Side War.
In the Dark Side War. So, he's been a key, a key point for DC Comics. I mean, arguably their number one art talent from that company. And again, I think it's something fun for the fans is that getting his autograph now is going to be something that in years to come, you get to say, I remember when I saw him early on.
Yes.
And that's something that fans will always remember. So, definitely get in line for Jason Fabok. I mean, also with the Justice League Suicide Squad crossover earlier, he did the artwork in that series. So there's a lot of great stuff to get signed by him, and a lot of great memories that collectors will have.
But yeah, that's right, because I remember he did the New 52. He did a short story in Detective Comics 27. That's right. Yeah, that I'm going to definitely get him to autograph.
No, which is a key book. I mean, that it's with where they do all the origins of Batman again, and it's a huge anniversary book. So there's a lot of great key stuff, and again, deep cuts and top cuts, from our guest list. So again, really exciting stuff.
Yeah, and then I know, and I guess I'm just asking. So are these like the other regular artists, like Kevin Eastman, co-creator of Teenage Ninja Mutant Ninja Turtles?
You know what? We've been very fortunate in the last several years. Kevin Eastman has come out to just about all the amazing Comic-Cons. And there's a big reason for that, is that since he is the creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's been literally 30 years of fans, ranging from all ages. I mean, I got into the Turtles by... I had those oversized, early issues, and I hid them in my math workbook, and so I was in the back of my sixth grade class, reading Ninja Turtles, and then it's funny, my son who, 6 years old, like last year, it's like, Dad, I'm taking you to see the Ninja Turtles movie for your birthday, so again,
nice.
you have this wide range of fans of all ages that dug the cartoons, dug the live action, dug the movies, dug the toys, and the comics. So it's important to recognize somebody like Kevin Eastman, is that his contribution to pop culture. He's been always fantastic with the fans. There's always been legions of fans of all ages coming out and mobbing him, and we have a great working relationship with Team Eastman, Courtney Eastman, his wife. That it wouldn't feel like an amazing Comic-Con without the Eastman brand behind us as well.
No, but that's great. And also, too, you also got, I'm going to try to pronounce his name, Eddie Nunez, too, that he's finishing up the Batman TMNT Adventures, right?
Well, he did some covers for Adventures. He's done some covers for the Turtles. And I think that he's definitely a guy that he's risen out of just being a guy in Artist Alley to one of the fan favorite go-to names in Turtles original art as well as covers. So he's been working with Amazing Comic-Con for the last several years in providing these covers, and fans really dig it. So it's a great tag team. You get your book signed by Eddie Nunez and of course the Turtles creator Kevin Eastman, and you're all set. So that's bam, that's a package deal.
Let's see. I think the ones that are Tony Fleece and I think I'm going to try to pronounce his name, Livo Ramonelli.
Okay.
They're going to be only at the Vegas one. Is that correct?
Actually, as of right now, there's a good chance you're going to see them at both.
Okay, good.
And again, these are great names that we've worked with, for years, and they're great family favorite guys. Tony Fleece is the artist for IDW's My Little Pony. So he's a key component of Kids Day. We celebrate Kids Day on each Sunday of our show. So it's coming to Las Vegas Sunday, June 25th, and in Hawaii it will be Sunday, August 27th.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No.
But what's great is they like him, and we'll get other artists as well. We'll draw free pictures for kids, and I think it's important to get a new generation of comic fans and pop culture fans coming out to the conventions and really enjoying the experience. Livio, on the other hand, is a artist of Transformers. He's worked on, his specialty is tech. So he has worked on, has been a cover artist of Star Wars in the past.
Okay.
But he is where you'll see his predominantly his work is with IDW and Transformers, and again, great talent. So excited that we could add somebody like that to the Artist Alley, because not only comic fans dig something like that, but it's like if you came in, and you're a big fan of the toys or the movies, these blockbuster. Movies. Transformers is going to be coming out in June. Is that you have an immediate connection with the talent that we're bringing into the events. So that's a main goal for us.
Okay, and then and then I also saw that you have Adam West and Burt Ward. How excited are you to get them to come to Amazing at Las Vegas?
Oh, it's a huge. These are bucket list names. The Amazing Comic-Con, brand is definitely centered around comic books first and foremost. In the past, when we've brought out talent, media talent, stars, the requirement that we like to put out there is what have they contributed to your comic, your comic experience. So it doesn't make sense for us to bring out, maybe somebody like. Dick Van Dyke or something like that, which are fun names, but it's like, what does John Cusack have to do with comic books, or what does, somebody from Pretty in Pink, reunion have to do with comic books? Again, all those are fun things. I love pop culture, but it's like our shows aren't about things like that. But our shows are about superheroes. Yes. Our shows are about, these cool pop culture icons, and it doesn't get anything more than the first. Okay, and Adam West and Burt Ward, they were the original Batman 66, Batman and Robin. They're iconic. And I think they set the bar for superheroes being in the mainstream. They appeared twice a week on TV with 2 primetime shows that were at the top of the charts. Yeah. And so, that's what a lot of people's first introduction was to Batman. Whether it's your parent, your parents or grandparents, or whether you saw these in reruns, these have been referenced all over in pop culture. So having Adam West and Burt Ward there, that's a special treat.
Yeah, it's really nice. And then I'm just clarifying because is this going to be their final appearance in Las Vegas Comic Con?
Correct. Well, Adam West is he's getting up there in age. He looks fantastic,
Yes.
but he's definitely an older gentleman. And I know that they are their touring days is coming quickly to an end, so they're making their last Las Vegas appearance together. Now, there still might be a few more appearances down the road within the next year, but they're trying to hit all their main cities that they want to go to, and once it's gone, it's gone. So Las Vegas, this is the last time they're appearing together in Las Vegas as Batman and Robin. So it's quite a big deal. I mean, if you're if you're in the area or close to the area, you can make the road trip, drive down. I highly, highly, highly recommend it, because there's just not going to be those opportunities ever again.
Yeah. And then also, I know you guys got Ray Park also coming to Las Vegas and Hawaii.
Absolutely. Star Wars is hitting an anniversary year.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And I think the fan base has just been rejuvenated between the new movies coming out through Disney, whether it's new lines of toys, whether it's all the different cartoon series, and Ray Park's character Darth Maul, which he originated, has been key in those expanded universe. So if he was popular back when Episode 1 came out, I would say he's even more popular now with seeing him in Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and seeing Star Wars Rebels, and all these other appearances, where he is one of the richest characters, I think, in the mythos. So having Ray Park out, we definitely felt that we needed to tether ourselves to Star Wars, and he fits very well, because also, Marvel Comics, what do they come out with right now? Darth Maul comic.
Yes, yeah.
So once again, these aren't media stars for the sake of having media stars out to the events. It ties directly to what's going on in comics, what's going on in pop culture, what's going on in science fiction right now, right here.
Okay. And then I know you have some animated voice actors coming to the Las Vegas one, Bonnie Gordon and Veronica Taylor. Is this something new that you guys started within a year, or have you guys been doing this for a while, bringing anime actors out?
This is, I would say it's a little bit of both. Bonnie Taylor, I'm combining them as if this is a mashup. Bonnie Gordon is a sweetheart. She's been working with us this is her third season with Amazing Comic Conventions. She came from a reality show on ABC called The Quest, which is kind of like live action D&D adventure. But she sings with the Library Bards. It's an act that she has with Xander Jenere, and they turn pop songs into nerdier and improve them with their nerdier equivalent. So they've been think of like Weird Al, but like nerdier, cuter, and cooler, and that's Library Bards for you. So they've been performing the last several years. Now Bonnie, even though she's been with the Amazing Comic-Con brand doing that, and the fans have really dug her in that role, is that she's also been a voice talent for Street Fighter, and that is blown up for her. So in the last few days, she's been announced on Battlestar Galactica's video game that's coming out this summer. Also, several other anime roles. So her voice acting career has really grown, and so of course we're going to spotlight that. Because she's always been a part of the friends and family of Amazing Comic Conventions. And she's darn cute, too, man. She's great. And she's also tied to Street Fighter, and so we're bringing out Street Fighter artists from Udon, Jeffrey Chamba Cruz, and Joe Ng. And so they're going to be both at both of our events again this year. But, if you come from Street Fighter, of course you like Rainbow Mika, one of the most powerful characters on Street Fighter V. You can get, a piece of artwork, signed by everybody there. Now, Veronica Taylor fits in very much with our Family Day themes. Veronica Taylor is the original voice actress for Pokemon. And in this last year, it seems like everybody's played Pokemon Go, Pokemon Sun and Moon, so it's had this huge revitalization. So Veronica Taylor her primary role was Ash, that she's been known for. But over the years, she's also worked on Sailor Moon, and she's also been April O'Neil in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So again, it seems that it makes a lot of sense to bring her out, because these are all brands that Amazing Comic-Con fans are familiar with, in addition to Pokemon, of course.
Okay. And then also, too, I noticed for just the Las Vegas Comic-Con, Carlos Molina, hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, his thing is Project Cars, and I know on the website he'll be showing the Spawn car in celebration of the Spawn's 25th anniversary. Is this his first time at the Las Vegas Con?
Yeah, this is his first time at displaying his work at comic conventions. Okay, Carlos came from us. He is a military vet, came from the Army, and after serving his years, when he retired, he turned to his passion was modifying cars. So in Texas, he has been, the king of cars out there with Project Cars. So works that he primarily works with are Mustangs, Jeeps, the CRX, doing mods there. Well, he approached us because he was a huge comic book fan and wanted to show off his work in conjunction with the Amazing Comic-Con brand. So it just started out as, sure, share your passion, this sounds great. We were introduced to him from the Garage Effects crew, which they've been working with us for a number of years. It's a family that shows off their costumes, and it's a do-it-yourself approach. And so now, instead of just a do-it-yourself approach with costumes and cosplay, it's the next evolution is doing it with cars. So there's some great pictures on the website of what Carlos has been doing with a few different Spawn cars, and he has a few other surprises that he's going to be bringing out to the show. So again, it's just it's by an obvious extension is that we are again celebrating these comic book icons, this pop culture. We're just doing it in another form, and that's with the car modifications. We'll see if we can bring that out to Hawaii as well. We're seeing what we can do.
Yeah.
We're seeing what we can do, but we're doing our test run in Las Vegas, and we're going to see how the reception is there.
But I think that's great that just like you guys are not only just focusing on comic book movies or comic book related movies, anime, but that's also pretty cool that you also tapping into to the car fans that are also comic book fans. That's great.
Well, I think there's something for everybody at the Amazing Comic Conventions. Whether it is if you're a longtime comic book fan, all your life, or whether you're more casual that you came in, with the summer blockbuster movies and Netflix and all the cool TV shows, or whether you bought some T-shirts at Hot Topic that you like, or whether you wandered into a great store like Dragon's Lair, picked up these cool toys and models and things like that. No matter what area of fandom that you've come into, there's something for everybody. So the hardcore veteran, whether it's kids with Kids Day, whether it's if you're a video game head, in the cubicle next door of your workplace, there's something for everybody. And so we're really excited to celebrate that with each and every one of our Amazing Comic Conventions.
Now, I know we talked about comic book fans, especially the Las Vegas one. There was a special person that showed up at last year's comic book convention. I'm going to mention it. I saw it on YouTube. Nicolas Cage. Were you able to talk to him on the floor? Did you meet him?
With Nicolas, his representatives reached out to us a week before and said, "Hey, we'd really like to buy tickets to the convention. Is that okay? As if you watch around the floor." We're like, of course. Sure. I'm not going to say no to that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? He was extremely gracious with fans. He came in there with his family and went there for family shopping day. So, here he was buying Legos for his kids, which was really cool to see. And it was really cool to see that he went on over to the Silver Age section and replaced a lot of books from his collection that was jaw-dropping. Flipping through, you see him going, with Spider-Man #1, Hulk #1, and Avengers #1, and Avengers 4, and so forth. But even more than that, he spent a lot of time just hanging out in Artist Alley, looking through people's portfolios and a lot of up and comers. I mean, you see him at the end of the day walking out with a huge Ghost Rider painting under one arm, a stack of comics under the other arm. I mean, he became a fan just like everybody else, and I think that's important to see. So he had his handlers there, and you'd think that it was like a very, hands off, but instead he was posing with fans and really soaking up the day with his family. Now, the best story about that is my brother and I, Bill J, who runs the conventions with me, is we're hanging out in the lobby near the end of the day. His fans are walking out. Two bros walk out, and they're slapping high fives going, "Best cosplay of the day, the guy dressed up like Nicolas Cage." Without any bit of irony, they thought it was a cosplayer. And we got our laugh out of it because it's like, no, it was the real deal. Now, and that's something that is interesting with the amazing comic conventions, because not only was Nick Cage there, but a WWE superstar, Sheamus, was there too. So it's like these guys weren't coming to sit down and sign autographs. Now, they were gracious with the fans. They took lots of pictures with fans. They didn't, sit behind a booth and it wasn't like a formal signing. But they are just like any of us, meaning that they came to the amazing comic conventions to celebrate pop culture. They went there to dig through comic book bins, to look through portfolios, to buy artwork, and they did. I mean, that's because they're real fans. And I think real fans come to the amazing comic conventions. So whether you are, famous in the pop culture world, or whether you're, famous in your own universe, it doesn't matter. We're all one and the same here at the amazing comic conventions, and I think that's important to stress. So it was really cool to see and experience.
That's pretty awesome. I gotta end this. I'm gonna sort of drop this a little bit down on a kind of a downbeat. I know George Perez was supposed to attend the Las Vegas one, and it's unfortunate he's unable to come because of a health issue. I know our thoughts and prayers are with him, but you've been in contact with him, right?
Absolutely. George, we love George. He's done a number of our shows throughout the years in a ton of cities. In the past in Arizona and Las Vegas, and he's been out here in Honolulu. We've loved working with George. We'll always work with George in any capacity that we can. What we made clear to George is that, and it was unfortunate, his heart was broken that he had to cancel the event. There's a lot of different comic conventions. There's only one George Perez. We want him to get better, take his time, get better, and hopefully we'll be seeing him, when the time is right, at another amazing comic convention in the future. But take your time, George. Get better. We love you. You're a legend. There's only one George Perez. So all of our prayers are with you. Our best wishes, and we know it's going to be a positive step.
Yeah. No, thank you. I'm going to ask. Do you have any? George, if you're listening, again, take care, get better. Like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For the Las Vegas convention, I'm going to ask, do you have any panels lined up right now?
We are finalizing. We're finalizing our schedule right now for that. There's not anything that I'm going to say is a special spotlight, other than if you're ever at a convention with Rob Liefeld, that is a must-see event. He's on fire. And with his stories, he's going to have set visits. He'll tell you some behind-the-scenes stories on the filming of the Deadpool movies. What's it been like from being on the red carpet to these events, to being the biggest Uber nerd fan out there, and that's always a lot of fun. So that will be great. But we'll have a great schedule. We'll have some great panels. But in terms of one thing in particular, I would say definitely attend that. But we'll have a lot of great stuff.
And then also too, I think FXX also announced recently that they're doing the Deadpool animation series. So he probably will at least have some, or maybe tease something. He might.
Well, you know what? I hope so. I mean, there's pictures on Instagram that came up at the Golden Globes. He was taking pictures with all the people behind the effects animated show, and so. I mean, obviously, there's something that he knew that we didn't during all this time. But between that, the casting of Josh Brolin as Cable, the Deadpool 2 coming out, and also, I mean, just the entertainment deals with the Extreme Universe that just sold. But I mean, more than that, and I think what probably most fans don't realize is that. Hey, Rob is uber fan. Okay? It's like whatever you think of as a hardcore comic fan, turn that up to 11. That's Rob. And he's on fire during his panels. So those will be great. Obviously the McFarlanes will be great. The benchmarks and of course Stan Lee.
Oh yeah, yes,
legendary.
Yeah. I'm just asking, do you have any big announcements you want to make at this time, or you want to?
For Las Vegas?
Yeah, for Las Vegas. And then...
really, the, most of the big pieces have been announced for the show. Now it's just really tightening up our schedules of panels and programming. It is putting the final touches on the show and doing the final marketing, going into this home stretch in the last 5 weeks before the event runs. And our plans for Hawaii is once we put Las Vegas to bed, we're approaching Hawaii from ground, from square one. So while we've already announced, William Shatner and Todd McFarlane coming out and Alan Tudyk, and this killer guest list is that. We're going to start from square one in highlighting and promoting all the guests from the get-go, because once Las Vegas ends, we have about 6 to 8 weeks before amazing Hawaii Comic-Con takes place. So we'll be in a sweet spot in terms of marketing, in terms of announcements at that time too. So we have a lot more to come.
Jimmy, thank you very much. That was a great segue, because I was going to talk to you about the amazing Hawaii Comic-Con. Correct me if I'm wrong. August 25th, 26th, and 27th.
Perfect. You know what? It's always hard to keep the dates straight, but no, that's perfect. And so again, we're kicking off the summer, and then we're closing the summer down, here in Honolulu. So we feel very excited about the prospects of what's coming up. And we still have a lot more surprises in store for y'all. So this is going to be a great time seeing us at either or even both of our events.
And then, was it hard to get William Shatner to come out here, or did you just say, "Hey, we're having a convention in Hawaii"?
You know what? It's both. Okay, I'll tell you what. The scenery definitely doesn't hurt. At the same time. I think people do take it for granted, especially the last few years, that we've been fortunate enough, blessed enough to put these great A+++ headliners in Honolulu. You got to think of guys like William Shatner, and guys like Stan Lee, and guys like Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane. They could all purchase their own vacations to Hawaii.
Yes.
So they don't, don't need, the dollars to lure them into this tropical vacation. On the flip side is Hawaii has been, I think, up until the last several years, has been an under-serviced market.
Yes,
in terms of fandom, and now you can make a flip side argument that it might be even over-serviced. But with all the spin-off events and other things trying to ride the coattails of amazing comic conventions. But the point is that now fans have some great choices, and fans have great access to the best of the best. And we're really happy to set that bar really high. And each time out, we try to reach that bar once again. Whether we're putting on the big annual amazing Comic-Cons in Hawaii, or we put on the mini special edition that we did last fall. Even at our mini show, we would still have somebody like Brian Michael Bendis,
Yes, yeah.
who rarely does any shows,
Yeah.
but we were fortunate to bring up to Hawaii. So Hawaii is definitely a great destination. I think the fans, are definitely make it a stronger destination, and I would like to think that the concierge service that Amazing Comic Conventions puts together and our reputation of being creator friendly also are all factors in bringing in the best of the best.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I'm just going to cover again. Todd McFarlane is going to be at the Las Vegas and Hawaii Amazing Comic Con. Jason Fabok, Jeffrey Cruz, Kevin Eastman, Joe Ng, Chad Harden, Matt Natos, and Eddie Nunes. But you have Chris Claremont, legendary writer of the X-Men, coming back.
Definitely. You know what? I mean, it's like I'm trying in the future is not necessarily bringing the same folks, and doubling up them in the same venues over and over, because many fans met Chris Claremont this last year, and it was great because it was right around the time of the new X-Men movie coming out, which the X-Men Apocalypse movie. So I mean that was a special allure last year to have Chris out. But what's interesting on his comeback out to Honolulu is that you have 2 X-Men series, live action series that are being filmed right now, and it's going to be coming out this fall. You also have the New Mutants movie coming out in April of 2018. So, in addition to the history of and then in addition to X-Men movies coming out from Fox, traditional X-Men movies coming out from Fox. So, so here's this legendary creator that his comic work, stands alone, on its own merits. But then it's like you have all these new projects that we can talk about and his reactions to it, as well as Legion, which which capped off. And I think these are all topics that he's very passionate about, and there's a lot more to learn about Chris Claremont than our initial reaction. This in 2016. So we're excited to have him in August 2017 as one of our true headline guests.
That's great. And then, as you mentioned before, that Star Wars is celebrating its 40th anniversary. You're bringing out a couple of guests. Not only Ray Park is coming to Las Vegas and Honolulu, but Alan Tudyk and also Rick Hoberg, one of the artists, from the original Star Wars comics back in the 70s.
Yeah, so Rick Hoberg did actually worked on that first storyline for Marvel Comics, and worked for the Marvel Comics storylines. He also did the newspaper comic strips. So I mean, he is a great linchpin from the comic book end of Star Wars to the fandom. He's worked on a number of licensing material too. So I mean, here's a guy who has seen all different aspects of the industry. And he's got a great animation background, working on many favorites. So he's a fan favorite guest. He loves scuba diving, so we had to bring him back. The Alan Tudyk is that played K2SO, the droid in Rogue One, and but when we signed him, we're very excited. I mean, here's an actor that we're a fan of. We liked his roles, and everybody came out saying, "Oh my gosh, I loved him in Wreck-It Ralph. Oh my gosh, I loved him in Moana. Oh my gosh, I loved him in Dodgeball." So, in addition to just thinking of the highlights of Serenity or Star Wars, things like that, his credits are long and distinguished. So I think everybody has a favorite Alan Tudyk moment and role. So that's going to be really exciting. It's going to be fun to see him out. So
I'm just asking, is he going to do a panel at the Hawaii one? I'm just asking.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to have a spotlight panel. He also works on a video streaming show called Con Man.
That's right.
And I find it hysterical because comic book conventions are my life, and there's so much painful and funny truths in this in the show. So, if you can go check it out, it's conman.com, and we'll be doing some highlights of that, as well as showcasing all of his career. and you'll see a lot of Star Wars too. So there won't be any shortage of Alan Tudyk at the amazing Hawaii Comic-Con.
That's great to hear. Also, animated voice actor. I know Barbara Gordon is going to be appearing at the Las Vegas one and Hawaii. But for the Hawaii one, you guys are bringing Bryce Austin Pamperbrook and Trina Nishimura from Attack on Titan.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's we want to highlight the most popular, the most popular pieces, that fans are celebrating. I mean, just like how I'm hardcore on my Netflix and watch those Marvel shows is the top anime shows. I mean, definitely have the same thrill for me. And seeing the new season of Attack on Titan is definitely rejuvenated. A fan favorite of mine. So yeah, you'll see that series on Netflix, but Hulu has the translations, and also the Funimation Toonami does. That's a great series. I mean, characters live, characters die. You never know what's going to happen, and that's amazing. Also, he's on Sword Art Online, which is another streaming favorite. And so again, I think it's just important that we highlight these. These people who impact pop culture. So I think there's a great crossover with comic fans and these properties too. That will be news here on your podcast. Is we're also going to include a special anime package. So we'll sample a lot of great work that Bryce and Trina worked on, including. Ladybug, which is, Bryce is the star of that, and
that's right, yeah,
and that has its own fan base. So again, it's we're trying to cross over many platforms, many different fan bases, and and hopefully the fans will come on out and they'll enjoy the lineup that we have in store.
I think the Hawaii fans will come on, especially for the anime stuff down here. Yeah, that's really great. Thank you. So again, the Las Vegas convention is in June. I'm going to try to remember the dates again.
23, 24, 25 of June.
And then the Hawaii one is August 25th, 26th, and 28th, correct?
27th, yes.
27th, yeah.
I'm with you, man. Getting a little bit loopy after, talking about the shows over and over. But what's great is that you can get tickets and find more information just at the same website, which is amazingcomiccon.com. You will have your choice to see the Las Vegas or Hawaii lineups from that one big umbrella website, and that's a great place to find us. Find information on new guests. I always suggest clicking that news section.
Yes.
Because that's where you're going to find the most up-to-date info. And you can also follow us on social media. We have active Facebook accounts for Amazing Hawaii Comic Con and also Amazing Las Vegas Comic Con. So those are company pages, as well as on Twitter and Instagram. It's at Amazing Comic Con. So all the words are spelled out, nothing funky. Straight out, but it's a real easy place to find us and get up to the minute news.
Okay, Jay, thank you. Before you go, Jay, Jimmy.
I have lots of I have a first name, and my first name and last name are all, both are first names, so it's all good.
Jimmy, I just wanted to say, you have great customer service, because I remember last year when I was at last year's the mini convention, you were great. Last year I remember you're walking around the floors. I come up to you. You're easy to talk to. I remember seeing you at the ticket counter, just helping out a bit. I remember when I was waiting in line on a Sunday for Brian Michael Bendis to sign some stuff. I remember you're passing out extra stuff like posters, some trades. That was great. That's great customer service. That's what I remembered about you. That was a key thing I remembered about you.
Thank you. That is the highest compliment that you can give me and give the Amazing Comic-Con crew. And all of us work that way. We all want to appear as accessible as possible to all the fans, because it's not, we want the experience to be great for you. And if that means, hey, we can direct you to a lineup, or we can show you where, you know, this booth is that you're looking for that has a specialty item, or whether, you know, it's you know, pointing out, you know, what time the panels are. It doesn't matter what aspect it is. All of us are going to be involved at all points. Whether it's handing out the VIP badges on Thursday night, whether it's tearing tickets at the door, whether it's setting out extra tables and chairs, you know, for workshops. I mean, there's no, you know, I look at the convention as there's nothing that is too important, less important, and the thing what's actually most important though is the fan experience. And if you guys aren't happy, then we'll hear it. But if we can, you know, if we can make any situation, remedy any situation, or make it a little bit more fun, or a little bit more enjoyable, or just a little bit easier to access, I mean, that's our goal. So it's definitely like that on the convention floor, but it's definitely like that on social media. So if you hit us up, because we try to answer as quickly as possible, you know, we try to be there for the fans. We might not always have the answers that you want to hear, but at least it's to point you in the right directions. That's our goal.
Yeah. And, you know, I can back that up because I know I sent you a couple emails. I mean, you responded, you know, you and Ben Gilbert, right?
Yes.
You guys responded right away. And, you know, Jimmy, again, you know, again, the great customer service. You came out. I know you have a short time here in Hawaii. You have a tight schedule. Thank you for coming out to record this. Just thank you.
Of course. But see, about doing the conventions, it's about being parts of the community. And you know what? You don't be a part of the community by just showing up for, you know, a couple of days a year and saying, all right, see you later next year. That's a goal of ours, is just to be a part of this passionate community. And those aren't just words. It's something that we want to strive to. But thank you, Jason, for being part of this podcast. I know that we're running late on time.
That's fine. No, but, this is great.
But any opportunity to spend in any way, shape, or form with the fans, that's always our goal. So when this goes live, I definitely want to get the links so then we can spread it wide to all of our fans in the amazing Comic-Con family.
Oh, Jimmy, that I definitely will. As soon as this goes up on Comics for Fun and Profit, probably in the next couple weeks, I'll shoot it out to you. The comic book page on podcast. That episode will probably be sometime in June when we do the preview spotlight. That I'll shoot you the link to that. But again, Jimmy, thank you for your time. Just thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And John and Kyle and Drew, thank you very much for letting me do this. And everyone, thank you for listening. Until next time, aloha. That was my interview with Jimmy. Again, the amazing Las Vegas Comic-Con will be from June 23rd to June 25th at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And the amazing Hawaii Comic-Con will be from August 25th to August 27th at the Hawaii Convention Center. And during my interview, I forgot to mention that Jason David Frank, Tommy, the Green Ranger, he will be appearing at the amazing Hawaii Comic-Con. You know, after talking to Jimmy, you know, I'm more excited about the amazing Hawaii Comic-Con. I've already got my tickets, and tickets are now on sale for both conventions. You know, please check the amazing website. Again, it's www.amazingcomiccon.com for ticket information and updates. You know, and I want to thank a handful of people. First off, I want to thank Drew. Drew, thank you very much, you know, for letting me do this interview and, you know, and putting together this episode. You know, thank you very much for all your hard work and your time, again, for putting this episode together. Thank you very much, Drew. And if you're a new listener to, you know, Comics for Fun and Profit, you know, welcome to the podcast, you know, and please, you know, check out, you know, future episodes with Drew and Kyle. They're two brothers, you know, who focus on comic book speculations on weekly releases. You know, to me, these guys, they're the Wednesday warriors you find in comic shops, talking about a hobby we all love and hopefully make a little profit as well. Drew also co-hosts the weekly comic spotlight with John Mayle. You know, they review, it's a spoiler-free review, you know, one comic from DC, one from Marvel, and, you know, at least another comic. It could be an independent. So, you know, if you guys get a chance, you know, please check out John Mayle's podcast as well. And John, thank you for letting me do, you know, this interview as well. And also, I like to thank Jimmy J, for doing the interview. The thing, I really liked about Jimmy was, talking to Jimmy, they have plans, for, each conventions, and to me, it was clear during the interview what they wanted to do at each convention, and Jimmy's incredible knowledge, of his guests at both conventions, So Jimmy, it was great talking to you. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank Lucas Martin, co-owner of Dragon's Lair, for letting us do the interview there at the store. If you're in Hawaii, or if you're in the Mililani area, please stop by and check out, my, LCS Dragon's Lair. Lucas and Randy Martin, they're just awesome people. They really are. And finally, thank you everybody for listening to this episode. Thank you very much. Until next time, aloha.